Hello, this is Ella Barnard from All Writers Welcome Facebook group, the ultimate Facebook group for writers, and also from allwriterswelcome.com, where we have other tips and tricks and things for you. So today I am going to talk about finding time to write because I've been watching some people in the group and it looks like there's quite a few moms here. I know that when I'm working, it's harder for me to time, like when I was single and I had a full-time job to support myself, then I had to do errands, then I had to do like just basic things to, you have to do to maintain laundry and grocery shopping, and sometimes it's really hard to find time to write. So in in response and as an encouragement, because there's sometimes it's hard to find time to write. It's just hard. But first off, I want to say good job, all of you. Like, you guys are awesome. I'm being like whoa, yeah, because it can be really hard to say, I'm going to do this creative thing for myself. Like, I am going to make this a priority. And even though it takes times from other things that are important to me, the people in this group are saying, nope, this is what I want to do. And this is what my heart is. And you're doing it. And so good job. Like, thank you. Good job. And thank you. Really. Thank you. Because the more creativity that you guys put into the world, the better the world is going to be. Plus, more books for us to read. Because I'm a reader. Oh my gosh, my hair is going crazy over here. Anyways, so I'm going to do a little bit of intro and then go into I'm going to give you 3 tips for finding more time to write. So basically, the finding time to write difficulty, a lot of it comes from, I don't know if you guys have heard about the difference between urgent and important. So a lot of the difficulty about writing comes from mindset, and it's that thing between finding time for what is urgent versus finding time for what is important. And urgent things, so I have my notes down here. Urgent things are those like day-to-day emergencies. Like, let's say they're day-to-day emergencies that show up every single day, but they don't make any lasting impact on your life. So like, right now we have cat fur on the carpet. Cat fur on the carpet. Like, I urgently want to go vacuum that right now. But it doesn't have like a really lasting impact on my life. It's just, cat fur on the carpet that I can take 15-20 minutes to vacuum and clean, and then it'll be clean, but there's no, like, a week from now, that's not going to make a big difference on my life. Those important things are those things that maybe they don't have any impact on your day-to-day life, but they have a lasting impact on your general, on your life in general. So like writing or self-publishing, or if you want to stay with the cleaning analogies, it'd be like organizing a room versus just neatening a room. Well, the organizing can have a long-term impact, but the neatening doesn't necessarily, because it's just going to get messy again. But the organizing can keep it neater for longer. So that's the analogy, right? So writing and being creative falls under it's important aspect. It's an important thing for you to do. And I'll show, and a good way to tell whether you've spent your day doing something urgent versus doing something important is when you go to bed at night, when you've filled your day with urgent things and you haven't done your important thing, you don't feel satisfied. You feel this, well, I definitely do, but this sense of regret that you didn't do that thing that you really, really wanted to do, but you didn't get it done. Like, that sense of regret means that you hadn't made time during the day for the important thing. And you just spent your whole day doing things that were urgent. So if anybody relates to that at all, please go ahead and give this a thumbs up. Like, Let me know, like it, or let me know in the comments, how does that show up for you? How does urgent versus important show up for you in your life? So the first thing to do to find time to write is to recognize that you're going to have to make time for what's important. And urgent things are going to come up all the time. It's going to be like, oh no, there's emergency. Oh my gosh. Oh, the kids need this. There's nobody made food. Like all these things will come up every day that are urgent. They need your urgent attention right now. But you have to make time, or you have to have a mindset that even though there are a lot of things that are going to come up that are urgent, you have, if you want to go to bed at night without that feeling of regret, it is important to make time for what is important. Okay? So let's talk about how to make sure that you can have time for what's important. And that's where we're going to have these finding time to write some 3 tips. So there's the classic. The classic is get up 30 minutes earlier in the morning. Or you could stay up 30 minutes later, but I think that's usually, that's harder to do unless you have like a set time that you always go to bed at night and then you just stay up 30 minutes later. I think getting up 30 minutes earlier is the easiest one to find that time. Now, 30 minutes might not seem like a lot of time, or 30 minutes might be like, that's a lot of sleep I'm not getting. But I'm going to go back to that mindset of making sure that you have what's important. If you got up 30 minutes earlier every day, let's say 5 days a week. Let's not even say every day. Sleep in on the weekends. So 5 days a week, you got up 30 minutes earlier and you just spent that time writing. That would be 2.5 hours over the course of the week, additional that you aren't, or that you hadn't been writing before. That's a lot of time. That's a chunk of time. You can get a chunk of writing done in 2.5 hours. So that's my first tip, is just get up 30 minutes earlier. The second tip to finding time to write is to take advantage of other ways of recording what you're writing. So a few years ago, and I don't remember which author it was, but it was a prolific author that had been published, and it was a best-selling author. And she had done, until she was able to quit her job and just do writing, she had done all of her writing like in the car, recording probably to who knows what she was recording to, because this was a little while ago. She probably wasn't recording to her phone at the time. She was probably recording on like a tape recorder or something along those lines. But so as she was driving to work, she would talk out her story and then come home and transcribe it. So she would find that time on her drive, because that's where she had the time to do it. But you don't have to, if you're going to work, that's one way. But that recording gives you a lot more flexibility about when you can write. Okay, so because there's a lot of apps for your phone nowadays where you can just push the button, or push the app and just start recording what you're doing, and then you can have somebody transcribe what you've written, or you can transcribe it yourself. But I've seen some things on like Fiverr where there are people who will do 2 hours of transcription. No, maybe, but you can spend $5 to have somebody transcribe it, and there you go, $5 for somebody to transcribe to transcribe your writing, and then you have it written. All you had to do was record it, and you can do that anywhere. You can be in the car, you can be, doing dishes, you can be, I won't say vacuuming, but you could be doing, you could be weeding in the garden or whatever. Like, there's a lot of more options that you could just be talking and recording instead of having to sit down in front of your computer. Okay, so that's another way to find time to write. And then the third thing to do is to just get creative. Okay, so step number 3, or tip number 3, is to get creative. So I remember, like, my sister, she is a really awesome writer, and she there was a time where uh, she she was really busy. She had this crazy busy life, and she had 2 kids, and she wasn't finding time to write. And so what she did was her gym had a play area for kids, and they would let you keep the kids in there for 2 hours. So what she would do is she would take the kids in there. She'd exercise. She'd do like 45-minute exercise or half-hour exercise, and then they had or they didn't have Wi-Fi, but you don't need Wi-Fi. You just need your laptop. Then she'd grab her laptop, sit in the lobby, and write for an hour while her kids were playing with the other kids in the play area of the gym. Like, that's such an awesome, like, she was just like, I'm going to make this work. And that's the kind of thing, when you change your mindset and you say, this is important to me, I'm going to make it work. Stuff like, you come up with these crazy ideas like that, and it worked. She did that for a while, and I think she finished like her first or second novel doing it like that, which is awesome. So that was step number 3, get creative. I remember this is a bonus step or tip number 4 of bonus of finding time to write is to make a commitment with someone else. So to keep yourself accountable. Accountability really helps you in finding time to write. So let's say, it's just like if you were going to the gym and you have a gym buddy and you're like, okay, I'll see you there at 9. Okay, I'll see you. And then you have to go because somebody's going to see you there. Well, you can do that same thing with writing. You can make yourself accountable to someone else. Like, you can be like, I'm going to join this writing group. But the writing group isn't like you guys go over each other's writing. The writing group is that you go to the coffee shop and you write together at the same time. Like, you just will sit there with your coffee or your chai and you have your laptops and you're just like, okay, like a study group, except for instead of studying, writing. And that will keep you accountable. And sometimes, like, if you have a partner who maybe is like, but you don't have any, like, who maybe has a harder time being supportive or doesn't know how to be supportive in the way you need. If you have a group that you're like, hey, hun, I have to go. I have a group of other people that I have to go spend time with because I'm committed to this group. Then it can be easier for them to be supportive because they're like, oh yeah, okay, I'll take care of the kids while you go. Because we all know sometimes it's hard for partners to take care of the kids while you're there, So, or sometimes it's hard for the kids to leave you alone while you're there. We all, we know those difficulties. So if you have a group that you're like, hey, I got to go to my group, and it doesn't have to be a whole group. It could just be one other person, but you go and you write together once a week. And you find that time and you have the accountability. So those are 4 tips to finding time to write. If you guys have any more tips that you're like, here's what I do. I would love, I'm sure people in the group would love to know what you do to find time to write. Like, what are some of the things that you do that you found that have really worked well for you? So go ahead and leave those in the comments because we're trying to help everybody here and make a great environment where everybody can be prolific and successful and make a ton of money. But the first step is writing. And we've got a lot of awesome moms in here who I am just in awe of. I had that face because because the All Writers Welcome is Anyways. Okay, so this is Ella from the All Writers Welcome Facebook group. We are also at allwriterswelcome.com. We have a lot of resources, and I hope that you today find time to write. Okay? Thank you so much. Bye.